Assalamu alaikum, hello everyone. Today I'm very excited because we are going to talk about editing, and editing is something special because editing is the last line of defense for a film or whatever video you are shooting, and it's one of the skills. Sometimes I say one thing. Um, See, it's like this. When you know Adobe Premiere and it's like a third day or fourth day, and you know that you can edit things and you understand like how to cut the videos and how to cut the audios and everything. So the thing is, we think that we have become the editor, and it's just like this. What I translate this concept into is that if I have a pen and I have a canvas and I have like all those colors and brushes and everything, so cannot say myself that I have become the artist. Although I know that I can put strokes on that canvas and something like this. So unless and until I do the practice and I become the artist, I cannot be the artist. So editing is something which is related to art, and editing is it's a skill, and I think the people who are editor are the ones who have a very good imagination and who can think ahead that what audience is going to think about this product. And sometimes you have to be the devil's advocate for this thing. So that's a technical terminology. So devil's advocate is something that you have to be very critically analyzing your work, thinking about that what audience is going to think about that work, and you do it all the time, and that's how you become a good editor. So, as I've said, the editing is about cutting. It's about what to keep on the timeline, what to show to the audience, and what to put on the cutting floor. So, we have certain concepts, we have certain elements relating to editing, which we must know. Let's start from what editing is. Basically, the editing is about transitioning of image and sound. So that's what editing is about. The first thing I would like to talk about editing is the visible editing versus the invisible editing. So visible editing is going to be the one in which there are going to be effects or there are going to be some transitions which are visible to the audience. Like for example, think about the film fading to black and then coming out of the black. So that is going to be a transition which audience can see, and they can see it visibly happening. Text on the screen, visible editing. Flashy videos, done through editing. Audience know that you have done some editing. That green screen thing, I have a green screen on my back at the moment, and we know that this is being superimposed. Once again, that comes in the visible editing. So visible editing is the one in which the editing itself becomes visible, and invisible editing is the one which we usually see, and in a film or in a drama, in which we go for the natural flow of the shot and we cannot see editing happening. For example, um, one shot in which I throw something this way, the next shot is going to be track shot of that thing approaching somewhere and hitting somewhere is going to be the next shot, third shot. So it's going to be cut, cut, and cut. That's it. So it's going to be sort of like invisible because audience wants to see the next thing happening and they are getting those things happening and you are going in continuity. So here comes another word, the continuity and the non-continuity. That's why I went for invisible and visible editing first. When you go from cut to cut, that editing becomes invisible. Think about, I'm going to write something over there. The next shot is going to be the close-up of my hand, what I'm writing. Cut to that cut. From the mid shot to the close-up of my hand. So this is going to be the invisible editing, right? And also you're going to call this thing as a continuity because it's invisible. You are following the continuity because um, the very next shot naturally is going to be the close-up of my hand that what I'm writing over there. This is a system of editing which is called the non-continuity editing system, and the non-continuity editing system is something in which you make your editing in a stylish way. You give it some style in such a way that your editing becomes visible. Like for example, if there is slow motion between something happening, So and if there is a certain style in which you give some transitions between things happening, which naturally should have been the without any transition, and you should have gone from cut to cut thing, and if you are putting in transition between those things, so that is going to be the non-continuity editing system. So the next thing we're going to discuss is short reverse short. So short reverse short is done during a conversation. We have one character over here, we have another character over there, and when I'm talking, the camera is going to be on that shot, and when my dialogue is finished and the other person is talking, the camera is going to come on this side and it's going to take the dialogue of that person. So it's going to be short reverse short. So my short, his short. So it usually gets confusing at sometimes, because students think that it is something which is happening with the camera, because if in any case there are two cameras over there recording the dialogue, uh, so it's about the camera work, but no, it's about the editing in this way, because it's the editor who is deciding when to show which character. For example, if I'm saying something, and the editor wants to show the expression of the other person which is standing right in front of me, he has the choice to put that shot as well. Next thing is the eyeline match. So the eyeline match is just like this. For example, if I simply look over there, and the next shot is going to be the close-up of my hand that towards the time, although I'm not wearing watch at the moment, but it naturally goes like this. For example, where your character is looking. So the camera was looking at me, I'm looking over here now, I started looking over there, the next shot should be over there. What's over there? Okay, like for example, if I all of a sudden look this way, so the next shot should be the point of view of my point of view, what was over there.
Einstein! Hey, Einstein, where's the doc, boy? Huh?
Okay, so it's like the eyeline match. So wherever the character is looking, the next shot naturally is going to be, you cut to that shot. The next thing which we are discussing is the graphic match. We already have discussed a sound bridge, a similar concept to graphic match. In graphic match, what we do is we match things graphically. Like think about shape of the subjects. For example, you show the sunset scene and there is sun which is round, and that scene is fading out. At the same time, there is a scene of a room clock which is once again round, and that clock is fading in at the same place where that sun is fading out. So that shows the passage of time, and that's going to be very smooth transition between the two shots. And there can be graphic match of things which are moving. So there can be movement graphic match as well. For example, a person falling to this side can be matched in the next shot with some other thing falling on this side. So the movement is matched. And the action match is going to be whatever that action is, you cut to that action. For example, Bruce Lee throws a knife like this, and where the knife hits is going to be the next shot. So you cut to that shot. Okay, so this is going to be the action match. So here is where things get interesting. The next thing is jump cut. So jump cut is a technique to do ellipses as well. I will tell you about ellipses in a while. So jump cut is something when you cut out the things which are happening in between. For example, you want to show someone going on the fourth floor. So what you can do is you can show him going on the stairs, maybe taking 2-3 steps, and then you can show him getting onto the fourth floor, coming out of the staircase and getting onto the fourth floor. You don't need to take the camera and chase the person for the 4 floors going upstairs. So these are the jump cuts. You convey your meaning and audience understand that. And if you just watch carefully from onwards, you're going to see many jump cuts. There's one more thing. What I want you people to know. Jump cuts and jump in some continuity or something as an error, that jump is different. So that jump can be, for example, in one shot your protagonist is wearing these glasses and the next shot he's wearing round glasses, and the audience is going to feel a jump in the continuity. Or there can be some jump in the narrative as well. Like for example, think about, you show two person who are fighting with each other, and the next shot you show them very happy, and they are like having lunch together, and maybe you're going to think what happened between them, they were fighting. So there's a jump in the narrative. So some of the story is lost somewhere, it's not shown. So that's going to be, so that's not the jump cut. This jump cut is an editing technique. So that is a jump in the narrative. There can be a jump in the production. Maybe it's sort of like an error. Because of some error, you feel the jump. The audience feel the jump. So that is the jump as an error, and this is a jump cut as an editing technique. So don't mix those both things. So the next thing is cross cutting and the parallel editing. So it's like this. You show something, it's like two set of actions happening, and what you do is you cross cut between them. You show some of this happening, and then you show some of that happening. And this is called like cross cutting. Like for example, think about there's a fight sequence in which there's a karate master and he's fighting some opponent, and what he is doing, he is fighting that person really good, and but for some time he gets beaten up and the other person beats this person. And now what happens is you cross cut this person who's down to the part where he was getting trained, and his master told him like what to do at this time, and he remembers that thing, those action, those moves, and you cross cut back to this thing this time, and he gets up, he now he remembers what his master told him, and what he the next thing is he fights back and he wins. So the thing is, this is cross cutting. Parallel editing is a little bit different, and the difference is of time. So please keep that in mind. Parallel editing is about you bring in the tension, but the things are happening at the same time. So for example, think about, there's a person who is trying to break the code of a safe, and he's trying very hard to break the code of the safe. At the same time, there is some policeman who is approaching there. So the thing is, you now once again you are intercutting between both of those things. Intercutting and cross-cutting is the same thing. You're going to call this as a parallel editing, because you are showing two things happening parallel at the same time. So you're showing this person approaching at the same time when he is trying to crack the code, when that policeman is approaching. So parallel editing has the same time, things happening at the same time. And cross-cutting is, it can be on the same time, but it can be from the different time as well, as I've given you the example. Next thing is the cut away and the cut in, or you also call the cut in thing as the insert as well. A person who is writing something in the exam, and you cut away to the time clock, and then you come back to the previous frame, and this is going to be the cutaway. The clock was not the part of the previous frame though, so this is something important. You cut away to something which is different. For example, you can also cut away in this scenario, you can also cut away to maybe a time lapse of clouds, and then you can come back, and which is going to show the passage of time. And cut in short is going to put an emphasis on something from the previous scene. For example, you show a person attempting some paper, and you cut into what he is writing, and then you come back to previous frame. So this person writing and his pen and on the paper, that was part of the previous frame. So this is now cut in. It's not cut away, it's cut in, because you're cutting into something which was a part of the previous frame. You also call this thing as the insert as well. Dissolve is when one scene dissolves into another scene. So one thing is fading out, at the same time another scene is fading in. You also call this thing as a cross dissolve as well. So this is dissolve, and a fade in and a fade out. So fade in is when you um, show the black screen and it fades into the scene. So your scene reveals from the black. And fade out is when your scene fades out to black. So this is fade in and this is fade out. Usually, if you want to show some passage of time, like for example, there was something happening in the morning, and now you want to show some passage of time, something happening in the evening. So what you're going to do at the end of first scene, you're going to put a fade to black, and the next shot is going to be your coming out of the black, like fade out and fade in. So you can use those fades like this. Short take and long take. So the short take is when you short, it's about the rhythm of the editing, it's about the pace of the editing. Usually the sad scenes, or usually the scenes in which there are going to be the like something emotional or something like this, they are going to last for longer time, and they're going to be on a slower pace of editing, and you're going to call that thing a drag scene, which has less cuts, and it's one scene continued for a longer time. That's going to be the long take. And the short takes are usually taken in the action sequence. There are very very short takes. The thing is, it's about the pace of editing, that sometimes the scene requires to be you want to make your audience at ease sometimes, and you go for the long takes, and sometimes you want the pace to build up. Like for example, in a film Psycho, there was a scene in which there's a murderer who approaches a girl who stabs her to death. So prior to that action happening, there were long takes, and there was like slow pace of editing. So rhythm of editing was slow. So as the killer approaches and the action begins, there are quick cuts. There are very much quick cuts, and then after that thing, once again the rhythm goes slow. So it's about what happens on the screen. If it's action, if you want more energy, then you go for short takes, and that takes you to the fast pace editing. And if you want to make something dramatic slow, or you want to put the audience in an easy mood, so what you do is you go for the long takes or a slower pace of editing, and you bring the rhythm of editing down. Okay. So next thing is the slow motion. So slow motion is when you show some very fast action happening in a very small amount of time, and what you do is you show it happening over a longer time. And you all have the mobile phones at the moment. Usually you people have, which goes up to 120 frames per second, or 240 frames per second, or even 960 frames per second. And the more amount of FPS you have, the more capability you have to make it smoother slow motion. Usually DSLRs have 50 frames per second or 60 frames per second with a very high quality of video. Ellipsis is opposite of expansion of time. Ellipsis is when it can be done using the jump cut techniques as well. As I told you, ellipsis is also used as when you want to show some passage of time. Ellipsis is used to make the audience understand few things which you do not show. Like for example, you can cut out certain parts, but the audience knows that happens. Like it happened in the jump cuts. Like somebody going to the fourth floor. So what happened? You show that person going 1 2 3 steps, and then you show fourth floor and that person coming out. So audience understands that this person has come all the way up to the fourth floor. So audience understands. So another form of ellipsis can be that is written on the screen 20 years later. So once again, audience makes sense of like things would have changed after 20 years, and whatever you show audience is already mentally prepared for that thing, that something might have changed. Now, expansion of time. Expansion of time is very interesting. So, expansion of time is like this. For example, your screen time is different from your real world time. So, whatever is happening on the screen might take longer than your real time. So, in a situation, for example, think there is a bomb somewhere planted somewhere, and there is a hero who is coming to disengage that bomb and save the people, and maybe the princess or the heroine is also over there, and he wants to save her as well. So while he's running to defuse the bomb, there is a timer on the bomb which shows there are 2 minutes left to explode. So while he is going that way, there are four people who jump in front of him and starts beating him. So he fights back, he kills one, throws other off the building, or third one is like somehow some other way beaten up, and the fourth one is once again he takes the kicks and goes on the side, and the hero starts running to defuse the bomb. So while all this fight was happening, it actually happened in maybe 40 seconds or 50 seconds of that fighting sequence, intense fighting sequence, while audience is thinking that bomb is going to be exploding in 2 minutes, and then you show the bomb and the time over there is 1 minute and 40 seconds, and he's still so that time is different from what's happening really over here. So in that way, when he once again runs to defuse the bomb, there is some big boss who comes in. He's a very good martial arts fighter, and he starts fighting with that person. So that fights practically in a real time. It took about like 3 minutes. While once again, when we see the timer of the bomb, it still shows there are 40 seconds left. So the time over there is running differently from what's happening over there, because they are trying to build the suspense over there. So practically that 2 minute time, by the time he goes over there and diffuses it on the last second, practically there are about like 15 minutes already passed, and that 2 minutes have passed in the film. So this is expansion of time. Can be done for some special effects as well. If you go for some like film logic, think about the bullet in the Matrix scene when the bullet is traveling, and there is so much time that you can move on one side and bullet can pass from there.
Help!
You know the famous Matrix effect. So they have some logic for that thing, the internal film logic. So they show you some logic in a way that the very similitude is so strong that you think that that's okay, because they've given some film logic. So that's another thing to ponder, that if you want to give some logic, if you want to show something different, maybe you need to give some internal film logic to go for that very similitude. So another terminology which is used is VFX or visual effects. So all those things which are done in post-production. So post-production is a phase which is done after the production. So up till pre-production there is planning phase, research planning, and that phase, and then there is production phase in which you do all the camera work and that thing. You practically shoot the film, acquire the footage, you put it on your computer. Up till the time you start editing, it's the production phase, and when you are working with the footage, that's where your post-production phase comes in. Although visual effects and all those things which you do in later on in your post-production phase, they need to be planned in your pre-production phase. So that's it. Thank you very much. We have revised all the visual effects elements, and see you inshallah. Take care. Allah Hafiz.